Hey folks, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually have an opening joke or any kind of introduction here. I'm just wasting time till the music starts right about now? Hey folks, welcome to This Week in History. Let's get this puppy cooking. On March 28th in 37, Caligula accepted the title of Principate from the Roman Senate. He was already emperor, but this was just them kind of giving their blessing. Eventually, they would kind of regret that. In 1862, the Confederate invasion of the New Mexico Territory was halted by Union troops at the Battle of Glorieta Pass. Yep, headed them off at the pass. On March 29th at 8:45, Viking raiders sacked the city of Paris, looting and plundering and, all that good stuff. They eventually left, but only after being paid over 5,000 pounds, that's weight, in gold and silver. In 1461, Edward of York became King Edward IV of England after his victory at the Battle of Towton. This also brought a temporary stop to the Wars of the Roses. In 1792, 13 days after being shot in the back during a masquerade ball, Sweden's King Gustav III died. On March 30th in 1842, Dr. Crawford Long became the first surgeon to use ether anesthesia. By the way, we still don't know exactly how anesthetics work. In 1867, the Alaska Territory was purchased from Russia for $7.2 million. Yeah, that's about 2 cents an acre. The transaction was carried out by William Seward, and until we found gold and then oil there, Alaska was often called Seward's Folly. Oh, and yeah, that's a picture of the actual $7.2 million check. On March 31st in 1146, Bernard of Clairvaux preached a sermon in a field calling for a second crusade. In attendance was Frankish King Louis VII, who was totally on board and was like, yeah, let's do another crusade. And it did not end well. But let's put a pin in old Bernard there. In 1492, Queen Isabella of Castile issued the Alhambra Decree, which ordered her roughly 150,000 Jewish and Muslim subjects to either convert to Christianity or get out. The decree also went into effect in the Kingdom of Aragon since, Ferdinand and Isabella. Isabella was Queen of Castile, her husband Ferdinand was King of Aragon, their grandson brought it all together as the King of Spain, that whole thing. In 1854, the Convention of Kanagawa was signed by Japanese and American delegates, opening up several ports to American trade and forcing the end of Japan's 220-year Shikoku isolation plan. And yes, we did a whole video on that. It's actually pretty interesting, so yeah, I would go ahead and check that out. And of course, a shout out to Steve Stevens and Clayton Jaimez for their continued support. And if you want to get in on that support and want to check out a video on the theories of the possible origins of the ice cream sundae, which is now available on Patreon, then just check out the link down in the description. But right now, it's time for... Okay, so back to Bernard of Clairvaux, who is better known as Saint Bernard. Well, a Saint Bernard. There are actually 7 Saint Bernards, and he is not the Saint Bernard that the dog is named after. That's Bernard of Menthon. No, this Saint Bernard, aside from calling for and then being blamed for the failure of the Second Crusade, had some interesting church myths about him. See, at one point there was a Virgin Mary lactating craze in art, and if that gives you an idea of the road we're about to go down, yeah, we're going down that road. St. Bernard was supposedly visited by the Virgin Mary, and the stories differ on what happened next. Some simply say that she breastfed him, but then there are the ones that have to do with squirting. In some versions, he was awake. In some versions, she squirted breast milk on him in his sleep, possibly on his lips. Her milk was said to have given him wisdom or possibly cured an eye infection. So yes, it's important for you to know that there is a church myth that the Virgin Mary squirted a saint in the eye with her breast milk and it cured his eye infection. I think it's best we just move on. On April 1st, well, that's April Fool's Day, so like any other day, don't believe a word I say. Hey, that rhymed. But yeah, we had a whole video a while back on where April Fool's Day comes from, but I'll give you a little hint, it might have to do with New Year's. But also on April 1st, in 33, according to some historians, the Last Supper of Jesus Christ was held. In 1873, the White Star steamer RMS Atlantic sank off the coast of Nova Scotia, killing 547 people. This was that line's biggest disaster until, that iceberg came along in 1912. On April 2nd, 1513, Juan Ponce de Leon first sighted land of what he believed to be yet another unexplored Caribbean island. Yeah, it was Florida. He discovered Florida. And no, he was not looking for the Fountain of Youth. That's in the kingdom of Prester John anyway. On April 3rd in 1860, the first successful United States Pony Express run from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento, California began. It took 10 days and yep, we made a video all about it. In 1882, Jesse James was murdered by the cowardly Robert Ford, or whatever the name of that movie is. Yeah, Jesse James was shot in the back by Robert Ford. Sorry, tried to be way too fancy there. In 1888, the first of 11 unsolved brutal murders of women that were committed in the Whitechapel district of London occurred. Most people know these murders because of their supposed perpetrator, Jack the Ripper. And that's just gonna about do it for this week, but we'll see you back here next week. Same squirrel time, same squirrel channel. Thanks for watching, hit that like button, and y'all come back now, you hear?